G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an AK-47, Type 56, and M70 mod. It's a weapon pack containing lots of Kalashnikov-type weapons, all of varying origins, with custom animations from Hitman. We've seen those before, and it's got the same sounds as Nova's AK-47, so slightly similar, but it's a little bit different approach to an AK-47 than what we've seen before, and there's like 12 different standalone weapon types for this one, including 2 Type 56s, so we can remove that one, and there we go. Maybe there's just 11 standalone weapons. Maybe you could count 12 as seeing there's a unique one sitting somewhere that counts as a standalone weapon, but I've gone ahead and customized a few of these, the AK and the Type 2. The Type 3 I've left as stock for now, but once you know the customization for one, a lot of it doesn't really change except for the name of the thing, and this thing starts off as an RPK, has a bunch of RPK parts on it. It's pretty much fully upgraded as it is, but we'll use this one for you've seen them once, you've seen them all type deal. So right now I've got the RPK receiver on an RPK, go figure. But there's also a bunch of these other ones, and if you do attach these other ones, the weapon actually doesn't change its name, so that's kind of interesting. You'd think that it'd just be one standalone weapon with customization options out the arse, and then it'll change the name depending on what thing you actually choose, but that's not the case. 247 damage is pretty good for the RPK receiver. That is the highest amount of damage you'll get. It also gives you a side scope mount and better critical shot damage and accuracy, so you can't really lose with the RPK receiver, so we'll leave that on. And we've got a RPK barrel and handguard as well, and it's not actually that good despite being a longer RPK barrel. The range is only 107, but if you go over to the M76 barrel and handguard, you'll actually get more range, a significant amount more range. So it's unfortunate that we don't actually get to use the RPK barrel on this thing to its full potential, but that's just going to have to be how it is, because I'm not ruining the look of this thing. We've got a 75 round drum magazine because the RPK is like a machine gun type of roll, so we'll leave that on. We've got standard sights right now. You can't do much with the sights apart from throwing a makeshift scope or reflex sight or a PSO scope, which is just the same one from Nuka World. Uses the same scope mounts from the Nuka World DLC, I believe. They look very familiar. The textures are very vanilla game-esque, and obviously that means it's a requirement. This thing's chambered in the 7.62 round, same as you get for a handmade rifle in this game, so look out. You could probably argue that I could go for a PSO long scope on this thing, but we'll have plenty of opportunities to snipe at a long distance with other AKs, so we'll leave that on the standard iron sights. We can throw a suppressor on this thing, though, to give us 309 damage. It's a PBS version of the suppressor, same one as the handmade from the Nuka World DLC, so they've recycled the modded, vanilla game, or I guess DLC assets pretty nicely here, and I don't have any complaints about that. Legendary slot is there if you need it. You can change the metal color, which right now, apparently that's grey. It puts a bunch of oxidization on the surface, but you can make it shiny, blued, or black. Let's make a shiny RPK, shall we? And you can have some tape on this thing, should you choose to attach that. It's got the pack painted colors on them. It just spawned with that for some reason when I added it to my inventory via console commands. But you can change all the furniture on this thing, so you can have it black as well, so it's black and shiny at the same time. And the pack, I can apply that again? Maybe not. Not really sure what's going on there. You got a fire selector here on as well, and the semi-automatic receiver doesn't give you a damage boost, or rather the automatic version doesn't give you a penalty, but it's slightly more accurate to use this thing in its semi-auto fashion. Interesting choice there. And we've got a heavy fixed stock, that's obviously for the RPK, but there's plenty of other stocks, including the ones that'll suit the Type 56, the Type 2s, some folding stocks as well, and folding stocks that are actually folded, or no stock at all if you feel like it. That's some major clipping. Maybe we won't throw that stock on. I feel like that wouldn't work all too well. And there's a bunch of grips as well. You won't be seeing these through normal combat, but some of them say better recoil, and you better choose those ones because recoil control is well, it's not needed, but it's always handy to have. And basically, that's all the customization we get for this particular RPK, and it's sort of reflected and copied across the other AKs. So I'm going to continue to craft some of these ones, maybe truncate a few of these that I don't really need because there's far too much going on here. But we'll get a good balance of weapons for ranges around, and then we'll see how we go. The customization options are slightly different for the M70 versions of the rifles. So obviously you got the 308s in this thing with the 30 or the 10 round magazine. And the receiver is down at the bottom. You can either have a stamped version or a powerful milled version, which will give you a massive amount of damage. That's all of the receivers you can get for this particular variant, and I think that pretty much covers all of it. This weapon is injected onto the leveled list, so I'm here at Cleo's and we'll find ourselves some AKs right quick. There we go, at the top of the list, and I'm sure if we scroll through this thing, we'll eventually find some more along the way. So yeah, it's pretty easy to find, all injected onto the leveled list, but there's a unique out there, and I'll show you how to get it. Okay, so this unique can be found in an unmarked location called Plumber's Secret. It's a hardware store pretty much in the center of the map, just down the road from what's Consumer Electronics, and there's mass gravel and sand. It's a place where you find mole rats all the time. That's how I remember it. But here we go. You go inside here. There's a white door. You can't miss it. Once inside, literally go to your left, find the gun on the counter. Here is Nova's banana. There it is. It's got a long magazine. It's 3 of the 30 round magazines all welded together to create a banana look, and the rounds as well. Other notable things in here would be the syringe rifle that is trapped up there just underneath some plywood. If you go near it, chances are you'll spawn some sort of rad roach. There he is. Just deck him, and there you go. The place is all cleared out. Now we can move on to shooting some gunners and not insects. Righto, welcome back to the Immersive Gunners Plaza. Whilst the gunners are going to be shooting those pesky mosquitoes, let's take a quick look at this thing. So this is the standard AK that I've got in the inventory. I try to make this one look like just a standard AK-47. The stock kind of looks like a lighter caliber AK, but what can you do, eh? And here's the one that I made. This is the one that you saw just earlier. It's got that reflex sight that is makeshift. Looks like a pipe gun reflex sight. It's also got a drum magazine, because why not, and a suppressor just for good measure. The third one I made here is just a short barrel version with a folding stock, and this one has a lot of recoil about it, and you'd probably expect that from a weapon with no stock and a short barrel, but this one here is a longer barrel version. This is the 308 chambered one. There's basically no recoil to speak of. Even hipfire spread seems to be super low. It's going to do a little bit more damage than variant 1 that I made, and will have slightly different characteristics. Different caliber. It's about the same, I think, but anyways, next one is the sniper version with the PSO scope. Looks to be a long scope, suppressor, semi-automatic, and the 30 round magazine, and of course the RPK that we saw just a little bit earlier, complete with a drum magazine reload. Okay, let's begin. We'll begin by using the sniper. I've got a lot of weapons at my disposal here, so I feel like we'll be in good hands to handle whatever these guys throw at us, but we'll just get started with these gunners. The recoil is going to kick the camera up a little bit, but with the amount of damage that we're getting per shot out of this thing, I feel like we'll be just fine. If we're getting them killed in 2 hits, we can get rapid follow-up hits like that, then we're going to be laughing. The only thing that I'm kind of missing at the moment is a big drum mag, but I think that would probably be overkill, if you ask me, but that probably hasn't stopped me before now, has it? We'll keep gunning these guys down as soon as they approach. I feel like we're going to have a pretty easy date. That's a random caravan guard. We'll just get a murder on the list there. Oh, I think his mate saw, her mate saw, but no one else saw. They managed to detect me. They got to be right behind me to detect me, apparently, and I guess they were right next to me. But yeah, these gunners, they're not wearing their specs in the post-apocalypse sunlight, because they can't see me, despite sitting here just in the cover of just a little bit of shade. And the good thing about guns in Fallout 4 most of the time is they hit scan, so I can just nail them from all the way back there, not a care in the world. Alright, I think it's time to begin the assault. We'll bring out the standard AK and try to cut them down with extreme prejudice. Full bursts. Gotta say, the bullets firing is very COD-esque. Just a little bit of popcorn machine about it, but this thing is doing a good enough damage that, yeah, it feels like it's powerful. There's the recoil animations here, obviously not done by the mod author that put this weapon mod together, but worth saying that they're pretty well made. there's an implication of a lot of recoil here because the gun is dancing around quite a little bit, but I'm not having to pull down on the muzzle or anything. It's not crazy, so it's a little bit easy to use despite all of the showboating done by the animations. And now we're going into close range, so we'll get the appropriate weapon. Probably could have been just fine with the standard one that I was using before, but, you know, we could have that extra mobility and ease of use in close quarters. It's not like the hipfire accuracy on this thing is terrible anyway, so it's fine. And if we're going up point blank, the crazy recoil doesn't really matter either. Only problem is, out at this range, we're going to be struggling to getting hits, and when we do hit, if we do, we won't be doing a whole lot of damage. This thing's range stat is fairly abysmal, so yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyways, we'll get back to shooting these guys. We've got a 75 round drum magazine here, so we'll just keep on firing, I suppose. We'll get the kill eventually. A quick little level up there gives us the health back, so we can just continue charging to our enemies with reckless abandon. There you go, that guy's head has been cleanly removed. Keep on going here, and
don't move.
You'd think you'd be able to pacify after the massive slaughter that's happened thus far. There we go. Alright, what other guns do I have at my disposal? Let's go over to the stronger version of the AK without a suppressor. Tearing them apart, making short work of every single gunner in sight. This is probably one of the easier runs that I've ever had, and hitting, and what was that damage again? 298 for an automatic weapon. Even with the 30 rounds and our limited ability to, you know, keep them going over a period of time longer than average, it's just crushing everything, especially that poor little baby gunner conscript. Who would have thought he would have been conscripted into a fight this bad? Probably the higher-ups there, who are currently cowering inside Gunner's Plaza, not wanting to go out and get slaughtered by the mad person with the AKs. The giant collection of AKs.
Got it.
Door has been breached. We'll just hold down the trigger. I think we'll do the job like that. Bashing animation like this. It's pretty good. A smack across the chops just to give her a bit of a love tap before we deal the final blow with the bullets. And that is it. And I don't think we use the RPK whatsoever there. So we'll bring the RPK out for our monster. But yeah, we cleaned up pretty easily here. And again, you can wear these guns. All of them. We've got problems with this particular version though. It disassembles itself if you decide to put it on your back. Same with that one actually. Dare say that it's not very compatible with this version of classic holstered weapons. Which is odd because normally guns are. So, and you look at them in the menu, they're fine. So it's really weird. You know, using an RPK reminds me of my days playing Battlefield 3. That was your starting light machine gun if you played as the Russian forces in that game. If you get 100 kills with it, you can spawn with it as the Americans, the US Marines. But, you know, you kind of struggled early game because a lot of the other players would choose much higher rate of fire weapons, leaving the RPK pretty much dead in the water when it comes to this. Now, obviously, the problem with this thing here is that we're getting such little damage over range because its range stat isn't that high at all. So we kind of got to rely on the sneak criticals to do the job. And whilst Swan is down there pissing off all of the death claws, it's not doing very well. And neither is our VATS accuracy at this point. So whilst he's running over, hoping to get more of a sneaky approach there. If I was using a more formidable weapon there with better range, like this one, for example, I probably would have nailed that Deathclaw and would be sneak critting him right now, but we can't have everything we want, can we? We'll empty this magazine, switch back over to something else. Maybe we could knock him down, get some sniper knockdowns. Oh yeah, it's happening. Great. That means we can just keep juggling this guy until he dies. And the damage on this one, spamming on the trigger, it's not even that bad. It's pretty much firing as fast as I can pull the trigger anyway, so I feel like this fight is going to be pretty much over, so long as we can keep him nice and dead on the floor here. There he goes. Wait for him to get up, get a little bit of hope, and then just take him down. Also, I've noticed with this current recoil setup, the recoil is actually pushing the muzzle down ever so slightly. And may as well finish this off with a bit of VATS. Bit of VATS crit spammery. Very good. you could probably argue this is a little bit overpowered, but what can you do, eh? Maybe this mod is not a finished product yet, work in progress, and things will be tweaked later on. Maybe getting this compatible with classic holstered weapons might be a thing they would look at, but maybe some of the numbers might be running a little bit too high, but that's fine because, you know, they're AI and they can't complain if something's overpowered. I kind of want to see how powerful the semi-automatic version would be if I was just to ping this guy from at range, knock him down. Come on. Down you get. Down you get. Okay, that was extremely unlucky there, considering how many knockdowns we were getting on the spawn. And alright, I see how it is. And this is a awful time to reload. We'll just jump down here, break his pathing. Quick little stagger there. We should be right to kill him. Should this... There, okay. Well, that didn't really go to plan there. We rolled many times for a knockdown and didn't get it, unfortunately, but we survived just. The recovery process is happening. The energy shield's nearly ruptured there. That would have been bad. Okay, this time during a night, and also when, I don't know, he's a slower dude than the giant feral ghoul, right? So, ooh, that was excellent. Okay, he's mutated already. That's a good sign. I can't see his health bar, but he's pretty much finished. As I'm getting mauled by all of the other bears, they'll dogpile me, the bastards. Alright, I'm gonna sort the rest of you out before I go. You keep shaking the screen with your mega stag, is it? Is that normal for an AK-47 to do that? Or a reasonable facsimile of an AK-47? Not really sure, and I'm not even sure how that was a hit. I think he's got himself stuck. What a dumb idiot. Okay, now the rest of them. Feel the power of the raw loud AK. Got nothing to say about it now, do ya? Alright, looks like our days of launching bears are over, and now we can just shoot at this bear. Cut the throat, let it bleed to death, like the Legion. I'd say this video is sponsored by the Legion, but A, I don't like them, and B, they probably wouldn't approve of a female combatant, but fucking Cope Caesar. Stupid bastard. Anyways, and I say stupid bastard because there's a mole rat in Sloan that's got a higher intelligence stat than him, so yeah, I know my shit. But yeah, that there was the AK-47, the Type 56, and the M70. Great weapon mod. Check it out if you are interested, but if there's none of this out there on the consoles just yet, you may have to wait for some time to port, but there's like a billion AK mods out there already that you probably utilize that, and you can probably grab Novas instead. So if I can't find it, then I'll post an alternative, but here's hoping there will be a port somewhere out there for Xbox players to enjoy. With that, thank you very much for watching, guys.